Hello everyone, my name is Nick and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. You will see immediately that I have ChatGPT pulled up, which means that we are up to no good yet again today. In my first two videos on ChatGPT in KSP2, I asked ChatGPT just to do a simple task, build a rocket that can get to orbit, and it did a surprisingly good job of doing that. This time, we're going to see if it is able to apply its knowledge of aerospace to the game, and we're going to ask it to design an airliner that can circumnavigate Kerbin. So, what I mean by that is this thing has to remain in the atmosphere, so it can't go to space, and it has to fly from the runway at the KSC up around the planet and land back at the runway. Is this possible? I don't know. That's not my job to ask those questions. My job is just to ask, can we figure out how to do it, whether it's possible or not? So, first, we got to give the usual friendly greeting. Hello, how are you today? This is just my insurance policy against the AI overlords, because I'm sure it's only a matter of time. Okay, it says it doesn't have feelings, but it's functioning well. Okay. I would like you to aid me in a design for Kerbal Space Program. Now this is if you didn't watch my other two ChatGPT videos, we have to tell it Kerbal Space Program 1 because it doesn't know Kerbal Space Program 2 exists, and even if it does, it's kind of like sketchy because it's trained on stuff pre-2021. So, it says, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I would like you to provide the specific design, including specific parts for an aircraft, wish I could spell, that is capable of circumnavigating Kerbin. Okay, let's see what it says. Let's see if we can get. Okay, attach to 4 basic financial landing gear. Okay. You can adjust the number and type of parts based on your preferences. Okay, so basically it has told us to start with the Mark II cockpit, which is the small one that's kind of like bird looking. And then we have 2 fuselages, one on each side to serve as fuel tanks for the aircraft. Okay, that's interesting. One on each fuselage to provide... Okay, so actually this sounds like it would be a working plane. Now, the thing is, I don't know if this is capable of circumnavigating Kerbin, so I'm going to ask it how much fuel, or rather, how many fuel tanks will I need to successfully circumnavigate the planet? Circumnavigate Kerbin. Let's see if it has any idea that it might be a little short here. Will depend on a few factors. Okay, it says we will need at least 2 to 3 Mark I liquid fuel fuselages. Okay. What is the most efficient wing shape for this task? Because procedural wings mean we can choose the wing shape, so we should ask it. Will depend on various factors. This is one of the difficulties that I have run into with this. It generally is just like, oh, well, that depends. It's like, I just want you to give me an answer, even if it's wrong. Oh, that's really interesting, actually. It says you may consider using the B9 procedural wings or the Making History structural wings. It tells us about center of lift and center of mass and experimentation. Okay. High aspect ratio, meaning the wingspan is longer than the chord length. So that just means wing is long and relatively straight. Okay. Maybe, is there anything else we need to ask it? What is a good flight plan for circumnavigating Kerbin? Navigate. Oh boy. Kerbin. There we go. Alright, let's see what it comes up with. Will depend on various factors. Its favorite phrase. Take off, climb to 5,000 meters or higher. Fly east. Constant altitude and speed. Avoid mountains. Stay close to the equator. May need to climb to a higher altitude. 10,000, 12,000 meters. Okay, this is really interesting because it is acknowledging that we are flying around the planet, because I was wondering if it was just saying like circumnavigate Kerbin, but it didn't realize that we actually had to fly around the planet. But it says like after approximately 2/3 of the way around the planet, this is a little ominous. You may need to descend to a lower altitude to avoid the terrain. So what do I have to like go into the cave systems or something? Okay, I think this is sufficient information to try this task. Let's see if ChatGPT did a good job of giving us a craft and a flight plan to tackle this challenge. Okay, so here we are in a fresh new campaign. I have found that with this game, it is always best to just start a new campaign when you're building a new craft, because it just helps remove some of the bugginess. I've got ChatGPT's instructions right here in front of me. I'm going to follow them as closely as I can while still making this viable, and then we're going to test it and see, does this thing work or is it just a bunch of nonsense? So the first thing it says is to start with a Mark II cockpit to serve as the pilot's seat and control center for the aircraft. Okay, so I am going to take that to mean this one. Looking great. Okay, now it says attach 2 Mark I liquid fuel fuselages to the cockpit, one on each side to serve as fuel tanks. Okay, so if I were to take this literally, well, it says, what does it say? Mark I liquid fuel fuselages. I do not believe that exists. Let me just check. Yeah, okay. So I assume it means like these. So if I were to take it literally, I would just stick these here. But I'm not going to do that because I want this to actually work. So I'm going to instead take this little coupler. We're going to attach one to each side. There we go. Nice and pretty. Now it says add 2 basic jet engines, one on each fuselage to provide propulsion for the aircraft. It doesn't say which jet engines, so I'm actually going to ask it which jet engines. I'll be right back. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT and it said to use the Whiplash engine after its usual various factors spiel. So we're going to use the Whiplash engines. Looking great already. It says next to attach 4 basic fins to the back of the fuselage to provide stability and control during flight. Don't know why it says 4, but again, my role today is not to ask questions. So I'm going to use my creative liberties to get a little funky fresh here. We'll just, maybe like that. Does that look weird? I don't know. Let's maybe angle this even further. Yeah, that kind of works. Maybe. It's a little unconventional. Let's see here. Add 2 landing gear to the underside of the fuselage for takeoff and landing. It just says 2. That's really, like, you couldn't, there's no good way I can take that. Oh, I could do, we could just use the small landing gear. They're too small though. Let's put this right here. Okay guys, I'm sorry, but I have to take my creative liberties. Otherwise, it's never going to work.
Install a small nose cone on the front of the aircraft
To improve its aerodynamics. That's integrated with the cockpit. I assume that that's just some confusion. Add an inline reaction wheel to the cockpit. Okay, so this is where I have to do a little bit of interpreting. So it asks for a reaction wheel. So like this sort of deal. So I think we can just do this. That's like horrible for aerodynamics in real life, but I don't think the game is going to mind.
Install a radio antenna. Don't tell me it didn't.
Okay. So it also told us to include wings. It didn't actually tell us to do that in the first set of instructions, which I've just realized is a huge error. And it said to make them like large wings. So yeah, I guess. There's no way this thing has enough fuel to fly. Install a radio antenna. Okay. What ChatGPT says, Nick does. So stick that on there. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Nice. I really want to use the huge antenna. Oh, this is deployable. Okay. Can I just like... I guess in the name of the video, I'll just use a modest antenna. Let's just check our center mass, center pressure. Okay, the wings have to go back a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Okay, guys. According to ChatGPT, this craft can circumnavigate Kerbin. I'll be surprised if it gets off the runway without running out of fuel. Oh. Okay. It doesn't have air intakes. Rookie mistake on my part. So I am going to ask ChatGPT what kind of air intakes it wants and where it wants me to put them. And we'll see what it says. We'll see if it even acknowledges that it needs air intakes or not. Yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, so ChatGPT just vaguely told me to use the ramp intakes, but I don't know where to put them on this craft, because, well, obviously, look at it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add small, like, underwing fuel tanks like this, and I'm just going to take our aerodynamics and put the ramp intakes. Yeah, looks pretty cool if you ask me. Let's take this in a notch. Yeah. Oh, look at that. That looks pretty cool, actually. And then let's take our wheels here. Actually, this comes in handy for the landing gear. But where's the center mass? Yeah, okay. Sure, it can circumnavigate Kerbin, so why am I asking questions? There we go. Okay, so we've been instructed to fly up to like 5,000 meters. Okay, enough training. Oh, okay, alright, there we go. Good takeoff. Oh wow, pretty good flight. Okay. Yeah, pretty good flight characteristics. Decently responsive. Okay. Let's climb. Maybe scrub off some speed. Jet engines are so nice and fuel efficient. It's really cool. You'll see in my other video, I'm trying to make a craft capable of reaching Mach 10 eventually. And the difficulty with it is that Mach 10 requires sustained, powerful engine burning, which is, you can get the power with the rockets, but you can only get the sustained with jet engines like these. So yeah, it's a bit tough. So it tells us to climb to 5,000 meters. So we're approaching about that now. Not looking too good on the fuel front. Especially considering how far we've actually gone. I mean, look at that. That's like nothing. Okay, so we're going to level out at 5,000 meters right about here. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm going to try not to lose altitude, so pitch up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So let's cruise right about... need to be... Oh, I keep doing the sticky keys thing. Darn it. Okay, we're cruising. We're cruising. Let's drop it down to 50 and cruise. Okay. So there we go. We got our little cruiser. It's actually doing better than I thought. I thought that we were going to have an immediate fuel issue because, like, I didn't think that ChatGPT gave us enough fuel. And if we actually look at the planet, you know, this is where we started. And we've used about a third of our fuel. And we need to go the entire way around Kerbin. The practical way to do this, the best way to do this, and the easiest way to do this would be to build a craft that can reach orbit, to get to orbit, and then to stay there until you're orbiting above the spot where you'd like to go, and then to deorbit at that spot, and then descend to the surface from there. Because once you're in orbit, you're going to keep traveling with no additional energy input. Whereas this requires constant fuel consumption from us. I just thought of this. A good question to ask ChatGPT would be, what is a good cruising altitude for this craft? Or what's a good cruising speed, not cruising altitude? I'm going to try to use even less fuel. See where we are. Okay, so this is going to take all day if I don't speed it up. So I'm going to get us to a point where we're not losing speed. So maybe like there. Yeah, okay. And we're going to hit the... Okay, don't lose stability now. Trying to fine trim this. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. So now we speed it up. Okay, it's still looking pretty good. So we speed it up again. Okay, we're pitching down far too much. So we got to climb back to altitude here. I think if the developers are listening, very unlikely that that is the truth. But if they are listening, the game should have a horizon, like, target for SAS. Because that would make my life so much easier when it comes to a mission like this. Because currently, if I speed this up, it gradually loses altitude just like that. Which is a problem for us, because then I have to stop and I have to readjust this. So if the developers are listening, please add some additional automatic controls onto this thing. So we've lost some altitude, unfortunately, so I'm going to have to pitch us up to regain that. But we've got a good cruising speed going. We have not gone far from Kerbin at all, or from the KSC. So we can 2 times time warp. Yeah, okay, we're stable. We're exactly stable. We're not, wow, that was cool. For a minute there, we weren't gaining or losing or anything. There's no way this is going to work out, but it is an impressive demonstration of range because, you know, we're using fuel at a pretty conservative rate and we have traveled pretty far. I wish there was an easy way to tell how far we had gone. Are we losing altitude? No, we're gaining altitude. We're losing speed. Maybe this peninsula here, this looks interesting. Maybe if we can get there, we can call that a success. At least for now, because there's no chance that we are going to be able to circumnavigate the planet, unfortunately. Okay, we're descending a little bit. Let's fix that. Oh man, we're not even going to make it as far as I thought we would. Gotta keep modulating here. Okay, speed is looking pretty good. 100 and we're a little low, so I'm gonna bump the throttle up just a little. Bill is just headbanging his heart out up there. I mean, look at this thing. So the problem is, if I stop modulating the flight path of this thing right now, it just pitches downward like that. And I'm sure that there's some way I could design that out, but I'm simply not going to. And I honestly think that it's not too much to ask for SAS controls to have a feature that helps us do that. Okay, we're getting kind of low, so let's climb. Throttle up. Okay, so we're not going to make it to the peninsula. So instead, I'm going to do a little emergency landing shindig. Turn. Let's pretend, you know, we were going to make this great circumnavigational flight of Kerbin, and then we just couldn't do it because of a technical problem that was totally not in our control. So we were forced to make a landing on this remote, deserted island. Tragic for poor Bill. He doesn't even have Val with him. What is he going to do with his time? Okay. Gliding in nicely. This thing glides very well. That I am impressed about. I wish... The difficulty of the circumnavigation challenge is that you need to carry a ton of fuel, but also be able to fly for long enough. So it obviously is difficult because, you know, you need big engines to carry a lot of weight. And I think ChatGPT didn't understand the nuances of the challenge in that sense, which is to be expected, but it's still disappointing. Okay, it's not looking as flat as I thought it was on first approach, so let's redirect for the beach. This is the first time that we will be landing on this island. Well, I'm really getting ahead of myself actually, because I'm assuming that we're gonna land, which is probably unlikely. Why am I accelerating so much? I'm about to stop. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm gonna make a little dive to avoid stalling. Okay, okay, Bill. This is all you, buddy. Nice flat beach. Nice easy landing. Use the shadow. Okay, we don't have a shadow. Oh, yes, we do. There it is. Okay, up, 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 up. Come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. And brakes. Gently, gently with the brakes. Little bit at a time, Bill. Come on, come on. No, 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 no. Ah. God, this is so stressful. Oh. Oh, no. Okay, stop, stop. Parking brake, parking brake. Thanks for letting me know I've successfully landed, Paige. Guys, we did it. We saved Bill. Okay. Oh, do they not have EVA yet? No, they do. I'm being dumb. This is not how you do it. This is how you do it. Okay. Get the heck out of there. Get off the craft. Run. Run fast. Run! Oh no, it's going into the ocean. Quick, catch the runaway jet. No way. He's gonna be stranded here forever. Wait, jetpack? How does one jetpack? Come back here, plane. No. Lone Kerbal chases his runaway jet. It's definitely going in the ocean. This is such a sad end for poor Bill Kerbin. Oh, it's stopping. It's stopping. Okay. Come on, Bill. Oh, okay, Bill is freaking out a little bit. Oh, it's coming back this way. And now it has phased out of existence. There's only one thing left to do, Bill. Site name, failure. Plaque text, Bill's Island. Okay, let's do it. Plant the flag. Come on, Bill. First time ever. Wow. We did it. We flew. What are you doing? We flew, circumnavigated Kerbin. While ChatGPT didn't complete the challenge, it did provide a design that worked with some modification, and it had the right idea conceptually. I think this is a great demonstration of the limits of the tool. And, you know, if you're going to use it, make sure that you use it with caution and realize that you still are going to have to do most of the work. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a like and also subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I upload regularly and I love to interact with you guys, so be sure to leave a comment if you have something to say. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.